Hello, everybody. It's Ryan and Brian Talk Sports, presented by Pickett Sports and Sleeper Picks. And I was just talking to Tone Step behind the camera and Ryan Props before the show. Over a year doing this, this is the only time I'm in a good mood for the show. I'm in I have no resentment towards anybody. I'm not in a bad mood at all. I'm actually feeling good for some reason. Don't even
Look at
understand
this
why.
little
And then
nose candy doing
Sam
well.
or FIFA Brit came in the chat and immediately pissed me off. So it is a little, it's a little bit tainted there. But Ryan, how are you?
Doing good. A little bored looking through this slate, but I do have some action I'm pretty excited about. We could still find some winners, even though
Yeah,
it's not the greatest slate. Little rain concern, and I think Pittsburgh and Cincinnati's in some big trouble. So as much as I want to mess around with some Logan Webb props, I'm going to leave it alone.
yeah.
There's a
That range
couple.
of that. If you follow the Roto Grinders, that game went from orange yellow, which is like iffy, to straight orange. So I think it's gonna get started because we know how MLB works. It probably gets started. I don't know. It's gonna get posted. I think that might be a game that starts at 7:10. It gets paused for like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and gets replayed at like 10. Like the rain does look a little iffy there.
Yeah, there's a guy pitching for Cleveland today with one like the most fascinating name I've ever seen in my life, and I guess it's just Xavion, but it starts with an X. It goes Xavion Curry, and he's pitched pretty well for 47 innings. And then there's Quinn Priester for that game. So I don't know. A couple games were just duds. One was so much rain you can't really mess with it. But like I said, we can still find some winners.
Yeah,
Let's go do
and
that.
surprisingly enough, on a day with such a terrible MLB slate, I still am in a good mood. I don't understand it. I'm here with Ryan. In between the show at 1 and now, I just like shaved the sides of my head. Feel like I feel fresh. I got a
There you
gift,
go.
Ryan. You can't see it, but these glasses have my name. They have like my what do you call it, family crest in them. They were a gift from my
Nice.
mom. They came into the mail today. It is some local whiskey, some bourbon from this local distiller I have nearby, and this is a good day. So let's just break into it. So at first we
Oh
had
yeah, man.
MLB talk. We kind of did talk a little bit about some things, but how about the fighting Phillies? As you see your hat, they are 26-14 in the last 40 days, and they have netted -4 in the standings in their own division because the Braves have won 28 of those games.
Jeez,
So
that's
it's one
so
of those
wild.
things where it's a little frustrating, but I do think we're on the uptick, and I think we were talking on the show. The Phillies are now minus 300 to make the playoffs, which is a little bit comforting. I don't know if the Marlins will be able to keep it up, but I just
Dang.
wanted to bring that up because that was a topic of conversation for the 1 o'clock show.
Yeah, I mean the Braves. I mean the AL East. I don't even pay that any mind anymore. It doesn't really matter. The Braves are just running away. We're 9 games over 500 and 10.5 back from them. It's over. Go ahead
Yeah,
and just win this shit race.
congrats.
But as
Yeah,
long as we sneak in the wild card, it's all good. It's all we need to do.
yeah. So
But
I just
yeah,
wanted
a
to bring
great
that up.
stretch. Yeah, great stretch. I'm so thrilled with this team. I love. I've become a huge Bryson Stott stan. Just humongous sophomore season improvement from him. I'm pretty happy with Marsh, even though it does sting to watch Moniak doing what he's doing over in LA. But overall, you got to be pretty thrilled with the Phillies. This whole season's just been so much fun. It looks like the Reds are kind of starting to hit their wall. They brought up another stud, Encarnacion Strand, I believe is his name. He should be
Yeah,
in the lineup tonight for the first time of his career. They got him in a trade. They traded Tyler Mahle, I believe, last year for this guy and Spencer Steer, who are both, just we can't talk about Encarnacion yet, but Steer's been awesome, and now we'll see if Encarnacion is. So what a bad trade that ended up being because Tyler Mahle is out for the season.
yeah.
But Reds might be able to pick it up, but they've been a really fun team to watch, even though they've been slumping a little
Their
bit lately.
offense is a little bit in a slump. I agree. They are fun. I think it's tough to make a playoff run if you are not able to pitch, and hopefully they figure that out because their pitching stats been so bad. But I do think that'd be a fun game. Like you said, moving into the betting side of the show, but like you kind of mentioned, I think that'd be so much fun to have some stock and overs or some props in that Giants Reds game. But that rain is just, I'm so tired of getting screwed by really liking a spot, and then all of a sudden the rain comes in and just screws everything else up for you.
Yeah, it's tough. I got burned on actually Mackenzie Gore a couple weeks ago, and I saw all the signs, and I guess I was just being stubborn. And then they started the game and delayed it. I think less than 20 minutes later, and then he ends up getting pulled. So it's like at that point, why am I? Why lose money? Battling things that I can't control. Obviously, I can't control how a pitcher does, but if he has a shot and he loses, it is what it is. But if you never had a shot from the start because of rain, what are you betting on the guy for? So just move away from rain games, man. There's 15 games almost every day of the week. Obviously, today is not the case. Mondays and Thursdays are not the case, but there's plenty of other spots. So
Let's get into
I
them.
mean,
How many plays do you have?
actually, I'm a little lighter today. I have 3 plays, and then I actually have one ladder, and then I have 2 plays on the same
Okay.
guy. But yeah, a
So
couple
I have
plays.
2 plays I have locked in. One play I want to talk through, and then a parlay that is like 23 plus 2300. I think just because why not? If you don't mind, I'll just get started with a play that has really moved. So
Rock and roll,
you're
dude.
gonna have to parlay it now. I kind of said it this morning. I texted Ryan and I posted it in the GoldBoys Discord as well as Twitter to kind of shout out the show. It was my favorite spot on the slate, and I just had a feeling it was not going to last into the show, and it did not. I took Drew Smiley under 4.5 strikeouts, minus 130. It's up to like minus 180 now. It is really moved, and I hope people got it in because I feel like a lot of people that watch this show obviously follow us in the Discord or follow us in the Twitterverse. So I did post it early just because I knew by this point in the day it probably would move because I think 4.5 is a bad line. Obviously, anything can happen in this sport. He can come out and strike out 9 players, but he played this team earlier in the year. He only had 2 strikeouts in 7 innings. And a guy like Smiley, that's such a ground ball pitcher, I think he knows that you don't want to speculate, but to have success for this team, it's not going to be by trying to get them to miss your bats. It's going to be trying to get them to topple over. So a guy that throws his knuckle curve as much as he does, I think he's just going to pitch efficiently, most likely. I'm okay if he gets tagged. That's all good with me. But I just don't know if he's going to get in these deep counts where he's going to be getting whiffs. So I think 4.5 is just really long. In 5 of his last 7 games, he's not even touched this. He's only touched it twice. But his ceiling has been 5Ks. So to get one of the most K adverse lineups, they're 18% 1 to 8 throughout this lineup in total against left-handed pitching. And the only guys you have to worry about are Abrams or Garrett. And my philosophy, honestly, if you're listening to the show, if Garrett or if Abrams strikes out in that leadoff spot, I'm just gonna bet it live right away, whether it's plus money at 4.5 or it moves at 5.5 really juiced. I think I'll just bet it again because I do
I like
think that
that.
there's only 2 guys in this lineup you really have to worry about.
Nice. Yeah. It's a spot I've seen a few people jump on it. There's a lot to like here. He's had a really oddly short leash in his last 3 starts before the break too, so it just might be another factor in your back pocket here. He threw 73 pitches and then 85 pitches, and walks started becoming a huge concern. He went 3 walks, 3 walks, 1 walk, 5 walks, 1 walk, 3 walks, 4 walks. So he suddenly lost all control after being pretty strong in the early season. So yeah, a lot to like about this spot. Fading Mr. Drew Smiley for sure.
Yeah,
I also, are you all set with that?
I am. I didn't want to spend too much time with that because I know it did move a little bit, which I'm actually happy because I think throughout doing these live streams at 5 o'clock, you kind of feel what lines will hold, what lines would not, and that was just one I wanted to make sure I got out early.
Yeah, lately I've been doing a lot more K props. So on Mondays, I'm always a little more stressed out in the morning, figuring out what can I share or what can I play now that I can actually share on the show at 5 o'clock. And I actually lucked out today. Everything that I played, everything moved a little bit, but everything's still very, very playable, which is nice. So I'll go ahead and move into one as well. This one did move a bit. I'm on Picket right now, searching lines, making sure we have some decent options, and we do. I went Mackenzie Gore over 5.5 strikeouts. You can get minus 115 on BetMGM. You can get minus 115 on PointsBet. If none of them are an option for you, DraftKings is minus 120. All prices I would very happily take. I like to consider FanDuel a bit sharper than the rest of these books for K props, and they're minus 132. So if FanDuel leads, kind of leads the way on juice on K props, it makes me a little bit more confident. I don't base my decisions off of it, but I do like having that knowledge. But yeah, Mackenzie Gore over 5.5 strikeouts. Just a massive young talent. He's a really, really good strikeout guy. He does get himself in some trouble with some loud contact, but at 5.5, I was thrilled to get it. I would consider a ladder. I didn't actually go that route, and I'll talk about why shortly. But we'll get into some numbers. He's 78th percentile in K rate, 74th percentile in whiff rate, 57th percentile in chase rate. So in between above average and elite strikeout guy. Both his
Is
curve
is
and
five
his.
and a half above average, or is that? I think that's like way above average, right? 5.5.
What do you mean? Oh, geez.
That was a penis
All
joke.
right,
All right,
let's take a
keep me.
moment. Let that joke land for everybody. That joke. All right,
I
all right,
think
all right. So,
that's like double the average. Yeah,
all
at
right, guys.
least double the
I
average.
don't know how to get back on topic here. We're gonna act like that didn't happen. So, his slider and his curve are both just disgusting pitches. They both have whiff rates of 40% or better. And many of the Cubs guys in this lineup struggle with sliders and curves, which is nice for us. The first two guys, I don't anticipate him getting Suzuki or Horner very often. If he does, if he is able to squeeze one or two out of those guys, all the better for us. But basically 3 through 9, I feel pretty good about. Especially 5 through 9. He should be able to tear these guys up. And the Cubs have blossomed into a really, really nice fade lately. They're fifth in the league. They average the fifth most strikeouts per game at 9.23. They're averaging 11 over their last 3 games. Since June 1st, at home versus lefties, they have a 26.7% K rate, which is like fourth worst in the league, if I remember correctly. Now, the reason I'm avoiding the latter here is I do have some workload concerns for Gore. Gore, I mentioned his start last time before the All-Star break. So a little while ago, he was removed after 1 inning or 1.2 or something
Yeah.
like that. The game prior to that, he played the Phillies. He got knocked around. He got knocked out early. So we're only talking 4 or 5 innings over the past couple weeks, which, obviously he should be really fresh. But he also is probably going to be slightly limited. I wouldn't be surprised if he got pulled at 80, 85 pitches. I wanted to see his outs line. And if it was at 15-5, either way, I didn't really care where the juice was. I was feeling pretty good because I was thinking as long as he gets 5 innings, I feel really good about our chances of him hitting this. And it was indeed set at 15-5. Like I said, I think that the ladder's really tempting here, but I just couldn't commit knowing that he probably doesn't get his full, he's probably not throwing 100 pitches tonight. He's probably not even throwing 95. If he hits 90, that'd be awesome. But like I said, if he goes 5 innings here, I feel really good that he gets over 5.5 strikeouts. And I think he will indeed do that. So first play of the day.
No, I like that. And, in this world of marketing and trying to tease things, you'll like my 2300 parlay I have
I can't wait
to end the show because it kind of fits into what you just talked about there, which actually means he's going to miss because if we both like the same thing, there's no way that actually works out for either of us. But
Wonderful.
I want to move on to another guy that I'm a little scared about in terms of workload. I did it last night. I know I texted Ryan about it. He didn't answer. He actually blocked me on. No, I'm kidding. Yesterday with Javier, I did take his over 4.5, and I kind of laddered a little bit up to 8 strikeouts. He got to 7. It was really nice, but I only won a half unit in total risk. And same thing with this play. This is another guy on the slate that you want to back one way or the other, but you kind of mentioned with Gore too. Some of these workloads are so unpredictable. I'd rather go half unit, and if I lose, I lose, but at least I have some action on it. And we kind of tie this all in. But I took Shane McClanahan under 5.5 strikeouts, and I parlayed it with Brandon Williamson to not record a win, because we talked about the chances of rain, plus the fact that Williamson's a trash can, plus the fact that their offense hasn't really been doing anything of late. His max is about five-ish innings. His outs line is set at 14.5. Weirdly enough, the Giants have been hitting lefties pretty well of late. They started off really terrible against them, but they kind of turned that around. So my thinking was it's plus 126 currently on DraftKings. If I risk half a unit, I could win a little over like 0.6 units. It's not super sexy, but I'd rather that than have to pay the minus 125 on the under 5.5 alone. And I do think that this is in the business of doing the no win parlay. I do think it's one of those things where someone's just in the chat that they got Smiley late. So I will say, I said in the 1 o'clock show, I've been doing these not to record a win parlays to kind of help out with juice or this or that. And I think Brandon Williamson in this game is probably one of the better ones. It's an orange, alert for rain, so he can get out that way. He can get out by the fact he's just not that good. He doesn't usually go deep in games. Also, if the game doesn't get played, you still have Smiley. You still have McClanahan under 5.5 at like minus 130, so you can still win some money there. So I do think there's decent looks in that. And I talked to my friend Ryan here. I don't know if there's a way to back McClanahan tonight except for unders. Even people I'm seeing are taking over 1.5 walks for him. But man, how often have you found yourself tweeting how mad you are that Cash pulls guys so early?
Pretty often.
Um, this is the second time that McClanahan has left games or has had injury concerns this season alone. He hasn't thrown. He doesn't really have much rehab work at all. I mean, 15-day DL, it's 2 weeks. I just don't know if this is the game that Cash will go out there and say, "Hey, he hasn't pitched in over 2 weeks. Let's just give him a full workload." And even if he was not off the DL, he was coming in peak McClanahan. Do you think this line would be much different? I think it'd be 5.5, but plus money to the under. I think this Texas team, they hit lefties so well. Their strikeout rate against lefties is only around 20% on the year, and in their
Yep.
lineup, there's only two guys in this lineup with over 20%. Over 22%, and that is Grossman, who sucks, but he does switch hit, so he can bat from that left side, which McClanahan left side batters only 18% strikeout rate on the year. So that's a little, hopefully he can avoid the K. And then Duran, he bats righty. McClanahan kind of eats righties alive. He probably is good for a strikeout, but they're both batting seventh and eighth in the lineup that I just don't know if there's enough opportunity here for McClanahan. Because if you're talking me this, if he's at 78, 79 pitches after 5, I will almost be surprised if he gets a sixth. I think that's where we're
Yeah.
at in this lineup. I just think he's so valuable to this team. I think I'll take the half unit chance that he just doesn't have success against this team, which you don't want to say for a guy was a Cy Young candidate until his injury. But that combined with the fact that Cash is just so quick to pull guys, I think it's worth a look, even if you have to do it the way I did with the parlay to get plus 130 ish.
Yeah, I mean, even with all of that said, even without all these risks, I mean, his K rate's 26%. While that's not bad, I mean, this is nowhere near the
It's
Shane
12.5% this last month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's even crazier. Yeah, I mean, the past couple games, he's had 5, 5, 5, 3, and 1. And in 3 of those games, he went 6 innings, 7 innings, and 6.2 innings before the last 2, where he got pulled at 66 pitches both times. So a lot of concerns. I thought it was funky. I tried to get an early start on research last night, and I was just waiting on FanDuel to send lines out. And I saw those sons of bitches put out Shane McClanahan pretty early last night. And he was like, him and Dane Dunning were the only 2 lines out for several hours. And, if you want to put on your tinfoil hat, it started to get a little funky because you see, I'm sure a lot of people see Shane McClanahan, they see 5.5 strikeouts and they think it's a gift of a line, but there's just so much more to consider in this spot specifically. So I would be intrigued to see if they trapped a good amount of the public on the over, without really.
And our friend Krusty Case, he won't admit this, but we were talking back and forth earlier today. He didn't want to touch the under solely because he thought it was too fishy of a line, so he was going to hold off. But he was really looking hard at playing the under, so I feel pretty confident that I'm on the right side of how I'm viewing this. Sometimes sports don't go your way or this or that, but I do think that, like I said earlier, the only way to play it is the under. And kind of like with Javier yesterday, for these guys that haven't pitched in so long, I think it's totally okay to stick to half or 3/4 unit plays just to kind of limit your exposure and ride what you're more comfortable with. But yeah, I do think that it is a good look for the under.
Good deal. I am going to go on to my ladder play. So all right, so we're gonna take a risk today. There's a gentleman by the name of Grayson Rodriguez. Grayson Rodriguez is the 4th best prospect of all of baseball to start this year. He started with the Orioles for several months. His K stuff is good. He got hit around very, very, very hard. He got sent down to the minors. In his time in the minors, he was terrific. So I really am trusting the Orioles here. I really believe in their player development, as shown by their farm system just keeps producing stud after stud. Also drafted really well. But so I'm willing to take a risk here. So before I get into more stats, I'm going to say how I broke this down because I do want to keep this a little lighter. Some ladders I'll go up to like 1.7, 1.8 units risk. It's not really how I did this one. I actually went 0.6 on 6+ strikeouts. And then I went 0.2, 0.2, 0.1. So we're risking 1.1 units total. So not that much different from a straight. So again, I went 0.6 on 6+ strikeouts. I went 0.2 on 7+ strikeouts. I went 0.2 on 8+ strikeouts. And I put 0.1 on 9+ strikeouts. Now, all those odds have shifted a little bit, but 9+ is still over plus 1,000, which is very intriguing to me. Very, very, very intriguing to me. So, there's some things to be worried about here, but the value just it called my name. I simply couldn't resist it. I think the reward outweighs the risk here. Like I said, he did struggle pretty bad while he was up. He got hit hard, but with that said, he missed a lot of bats. His K rate was 26.5%. He had 56 strikeouts in 45.1 innings. He was 69th percentile in K rate, and I don't think there's a better percentile you can be in than the 69th. 4 of his 5 pitches that he throws, the whiff rate on them is 27.8% or higher, including his fastball. So he can get swings and misses in the zone, which is really important, and he can get guys to chase, which is also pretty awesome. So when he got sent down, I think his last start was against Texas. I actually played him over 5.5 strikeouts. I want to say that game. He went 3
How'd
and
that
1/3 inning. He hit. So I think he hit his. He got his 6th strikeout.
Base, yeah.
Yeah, he got his 6th strikeout on the first out of the 3rd inning, and then he gave up like 9 runs right after that.
Yeah.
And got pulled and got sent down. But anyway, so he went down. He made 7 starts in the minors. He pitched 37.1 innings. In those 37.1 innings, he had 54 strikeouts. So majors, minors, Raleigh or Durham, whatever their minor league team is versus the Dodgers. There's a bit of a difference here, as you can imagine. But again, the value was just a little too good for me to resist, especially with how well he pitched down there. In 7 of those starts, he went 6 innings or more. He got pulled after 3 innings last start, but I'm just assuming that they've seen enough. They were just ready. Let's bring him back up. He looks good enough. The Dodgers, they do have some bats that can get them in trouble, of course, but they're still a nice strikeout target. They average 8.8 strikeouts per game. They get worse on the road where they average over 9 strikeouts per game. The projected lineup had 22.7% K rate versus righties this year. And there's just some massive targets like Max Muncy, JD Martinez, James Outman, Chris Taylor, who I believe all are confirmed. So there's some massive targets in this lineup. So all in all, tough matchup, tough thing to come back up to. But I'm back in the Orioles here. I trust that the Orioles, they found his issue. It certainly looked like they found his issue, and over plus 1,000 for this kind of talent to get 9 strikeouts is insane to me. Something that I personally had to sprinkle on, so I went ahead and did that. I just thought the value across the board was just so insane. I think they'll let him throw pretty much a normal workload. There doesn't seem to be any workload concern. So as long as he can stay in the game, I think he's got a really good shot to climb this ladder here.
Yeah, I like that. I do think he's one of those guys where kind of mentioned it with Javier yesterday, is that sometimes you want to be careful with people coming back, but sometimes you can find real good value in a decent matchup. He's definitely a guy that should be able to cruise if he's able to figure out what the hell happened before getting sent down. But he's looked great since then.
Yeah. Values, like I said, I went 1.1 units, so no different than a straight, other than I guess the 0.1. So it's not a hammer spot by any means. There's definitely some risk here, but again, reward to me very heavily outweighed the risk, so I went ahead and ran it.
And then you have one more after that, right? Or is that yeah. So I will share just some thinking that we kind of talked about earlier on the 1 p.m. show. I haven't even played this yet. I probably will, but my big thing is it's so tough to share kind of plays like this. But I actually, if you have Canby books, whether it's Sugar House, Barstool, Bet Rivers, all those guys, if you can get more than $6 down, which I'm about $12, it let me bet on this. But
there you go.
Maybe I can find someone else to play for me, but I think they're the only books that offer alt strikeout plays or like same game parlays. And I think I might just start looking into this every single time there is an orange or orange yellow rain delay. So in the Reds game today, like if you wanted to take Logan Webb under 7.5 strikeouts parlayed in the same game parlay with Williamson under 5.5, it's like minus 125, but it's 2 strikeouts over like both of their base. And I just think it's one of those things where, do you think you can be profitable if you just did that every single time there's a rain delay and just hope that either A, they don't get it because it's still 2 strikeouts over, or B, you can almost just get saved by an hour rain delay.
The rain come today parlay.
Yeah, like I mean, me and Will.
Slick.
So
I like that.
So we did it once with the Rays game. I mean the Reds game where we just did like all unders, and I think Will Hill won like a plus 600 because he did like the other end of the spectrum where he went like a strikeout lower than both players, and it was a rain delay after 2 innings, and he won. So it's one of those things
Nice.
where I actually think there's something to it. I feel like you get limited so fast if you did it though, because they might see what you're doing and immediately just pull your account, which I've had experiences with. But I do think if you have clean like Canvy accounts, that's just something I wanted to mention on the show because I do think this game probably gets some kind of delay at some point.
And you just hope that they start if they're fingers crossed they're dumb enough to start it and then just delay it 15 minutes
Which, if
later.
you've
Then
noticed in
boom,
the MLB,
you're good.
they have started a lot of games just
They
to
have
end them after an inning or two.
Yeah, they have no issue doing that, unfortunately, which is very frustrating for us, but not if you're betting like this. So,
Yeah.
definitely an interesting thought, especially to go that much higher than their K, their props, because um,
I
even
mean,
if even if it doesn't go to delay, you're still asking for a lot. I mean, Williamson to get 6, and I mean Webb getting 8, isn't like terribly far fetched, but
his strikeout rate on the road is a lot worse, so that
yes,
definitely
yes, he is
helps.
much different away from home.
But Tone Stamp in the chat also mentioned like, well, play both unders, blah blah, which I agree with. But I think you can also do a thing where say every single time there's like this much rain expected, just take a unit, bet half a unit on the regular lines or whatever, like, and then kind of like parlay like almost ladder it reverse and like go shorter as it goes and just hope there's rain, which I think is kind of funny, but it's actually really good thinking, especially with how we've seen some of these delays go.
Absolutely, yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt about it. It's an interesting thought, no doubt about that.
So I'll let you finish up. I just wanted to put that into the universe.
There you go. I almost feel bad like sharing this. This almost feels like it's not like a waste of time, but who this is the least creative play you'll ever hear in your entire life. I'm gonna go Shohei Ohtani
Oh,
bases and homer. I'm going 1 unit on his bases. I'm going 0.5 units on his home run. Sorry, it's just chalky. I mean, I'm sure almost everybody listening has already locked this in themselves. How could you resist this spot? I mean, Severino's just been uh, as bad as anybody could be. I mean, 7.38 ERA is expected. ERA is 7.02, so it's not even like he's had bad luck. He's just been bad. 6% on hard hit rate, 10th percentile in barrel rate. He's got a 1.80 WHIP. He's allowed 11 homers in 42.2 innings. His away ERA is 9.27. He's allowed 6 homers in 22.2 innings. More specifically to Shohei, lefties have dismantled him. He's allowed a 330 average with 11 extra base hits in 88 at bats versus lefties. Shohei's faced him 4 times. He took him deep in one of those at bats. And if you want to hear some crazy stats, I got them for you. So at home versus righties since June 1st, Shohei has a 295 WRC plus. He has a 608 ISO. He's slugging 1,020, and his batting average is 412 in those scenarios. So I mean my God. So
yeah, it's not
I don't
ideal.
Yeah, it's unfathomable numbers. Now, I similar to what you just did, I want to put something out into the universe myself. So I'm putting 1.5 total units on Ohtani. It seems so obvious, but at the same time, this is still baseball. So I want to throw something out there to consider for the rest of the season, or especially while Trout is out. Why in the world would teams pitch to this man? So
Yeah.
I'm that is easily my biggest concern here is why are they going to throw him a strike? So if you do find yourself overexposing to Shohei, there's got to be a better way to say that. If you overbet Shohei or you have a pretty decent risk, I don't mind the thought of sprinkling on his over 0.5 walks. It's usually pretty good odds. I think he's walked in 8 of his last 10 home games or something like that. So I mean, something to peek into, whether you have his props or not, but it's almost like a little security blanket because it almost feels like the only way he's not hitting his total baselines is if he does get walked twice. He's just the guy is just out of this world. There's not even really words to describe it, but at the same time, like you said, why the hell would anybody throw him a strike at this point? So that's going to be our biggest concern. That'll be our that'll be our biggest fright. Now, I didn't actually bet his over 0.5 walks tonight. But it's just something, like I said, I just kind of wanted to get it out there into the universe, something to consider long term, especially while Trout is out, because this lineup is not good and they're striking out like crazy around him. So I think they protected him yesterday with Moniak behind him.
Phillies legend, yeah.
Yeah, Phillies legend, #1 overall pick. I don't think Moniak's been pretty damn good. I still think you walk Shohei to get to Moniak if you need to, but that's about as good as they can protect Shohei as far as you got to forcing them to throw to him a little bit. But yeah, it just you can't find a better spot than this for a total base and home run spot. So I think I took bases on DraftKings. I took his homer on Bet365. I believe those have the best odds out of the books that I often use. So. Jumping on with the public on a Shohei Ohtani prop. So what can go wrong?
I like that. No, I'm all for it. I mean, it's one of those people you kind of just have to just take what you can get with it. Might as well. Let me see. I'm looking here. I think he's also on the pick and popular plays. So you're gonna have a lot to talk about for that.
Segue, beautiful.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, before the segue.
Oh yes, of course. We have 2,300 parlay to talk.
It's actually 2,100 when I just checked. I said that tone stamp. It did move down a whole plus 200 there, and I want you to take it. I want you to put like $5 on it with me.
I'll do it right now.
Do you have Caesars, right?
I am not allowed to deposit into
you
Caesars.
idiot. So you can't take it. You can't take it. I'm so happy now. I want to get rich, and you're not. So this is one of those things where I was on Caesars, just like kind of messing around. I have the spare change parlay. That's kind of what this is. I put $7 on it to win like a 150, just to kind of round up my account. But tell me why this doesn't hit. So you were talking about Mackenzie Gore, right? Do you see on the screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So Mackenzie Gore, you talking about it. His over 5.5 strikeouts, under 15.5 outs. We both agreed that his workload has been a little iffy. And then
he's going to go 5 innings, get 6 Ks.
Yeah, and then my angle for Drew Smyly is that to pitch efficiently, he's got to make contact with the bat, so he could have some quick innings. So this is a parlay where you take the over on Mackenzie Gore strikeouts, under 15.5 outs, Drew Smyly over 17.5 outs, but under 4.5 strikeouts. And it's 21. It's like it's 21 to 1.
Yeah, I guess because it's like
it's so
like
much reverse correlation. Yeah, so much reverse correlation. But it was, I don't know. I had to take it. I mean, it's $7, but I mean, 7 to win 150 on something like this is kind of fun to round up my account. I didn't want the $7 anyway because it was making my account balance look all weird. So it's
big
like
inconvenience.
Yeah, it was $7.07. But yeah, it's really bad in terms of reverse correlation. But I do think this is a spot where Smyly should have success with quick innings, and Mackenzie Gore should, he should. Oh, they moved it.
I got bad news for you. Yeah. Dang,
yeah. What the hell? I'm sorry. That's so annoying because Caesar sucks because they don't allow you to do alts anything, whether it's like 4+. So that really sucks. This is gonna be so annoying because I'm gonna make so much money off this, and people watching can't now. This was like my brainchild. This is so fucking funny. Like, this is hilarious. It's gonna win. Honestly, I'll take it again at under 3.5. It's gotta be like what? It's gonna be like what, 40 to 1? It's gotta be 40 to 1 at that point. Is it 40 to 1? I'll check later, but it's gotta be 40 to 1 because his under 4.5 when I took that was like minus 185. So under 3.5 has to be like plus money and then some. I'm gonna check it right now.
Sprinkle.
I'll check it right now because if it is like 40 to 1, I'll still post it somewhere. Let me see. Over under. Take the over. Oh, what? And Smiley's outs is now 60.5. So maybe it cancels out.
Yeah, it very well might.
Actually, it's 25 to 1, but the fact that you get the out under is actually pretty nice because Smiley's totally the kind of guy that will go into the 6 and then just like screw it all up.
I like it. I mean, it's pretty freaking interesting. And those odds seem ridiculous.
That's really funny. Yeah, even at 25 to 1, I probably would. Like I said, this is not something I recommend putting a lot of money on, but I put like I said, I round out my account there. I do think the you sacrifice the strikeouts, but you get the extra out. So I think that's it's funny knowing me, Ryan. He's gonna have 3 strikeouts and 17 outs, and I'm gonna lose the 21 to 1 that I share with everybody that I already took. So now I have to take it, or I'm gonna feel like an idiot if I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta cover myself. Yeah, but if you guys want to have some fun, yeah, I do think. Yeah. So Tones have asked in the chat. Yeah, over 16.5. I have over 16.5 outs under on the strikeouts for Smiley.
Sounds good, dude.
Yeah, it's a fun play. It's a fun play. I think it's gonna win.
I hope so, dude. That game. What is that game? It's
805.
8:05. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, and
I'll be
now they
looking
can.
out for it, dude. That sounds pretty cool. I wish I could. I don't know what happened with me and Caesars, but we don't get along anymore. So I unfortunately can't tag along with you, but I will
That's
be there.
really
Yeah.
annoying. Yeah.
I'll be
So
cheering for
that's
Mackenzie Gore over 5-5 anyway. So
yeah,
I'll be
with
on
a
the
lot with a
lookout.
high pitch count. With a high pitch
I
count.
I can do it on 365. Holy fuck.
Oh, okay. What's the odds of 365?
Probably like 700 to 1. This book is insane, dude. I love this
Honestly,
book so much.
I hope this wins because I probably won't post it anymore if I can't get the original 4.5. But it'd be really fun if the show can get some love with this crazy ass stupid parlay. But that's a good point. You mentioned Drew Smiley, which is good to
25 to 1.
To segue. So same odds. So it's for 3.5 or 4.5.
3.5.
Yeah. So I'll take it with you with the 3.5. I'll put $5 on it.
I got 5 to win 130. I'm in.
All right, we're doing it. So speaking of Drew Smiley, we're gonna move to the pick up popular plays, and the most bet player on the slate is Logan Webb. So that's a really bad segue, but at the same time, I'm iffy on it. It's one of those things where his strikeouts are the most bet things, but we kind of talked about it. I just hate taking anything that revolves around a game with a lot of rain concerns.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much for me. I mean, I get it. I mean, this line's been striking out a lot. He's got double-digit strikeouts in 2 straight. I definitely understand the appeal. This was one where I felt like the risk did not outweigh the reward personally, but I don't blame you, especially if you got a nice price on 5-5 last night when it came out. I don't know if a nice price ever existed technically, but if you got a nice price on 5-5, I'm really happy for you. 6-5 even at plus odds, dude. I get it. I am not mad at you, but yeah, I'm just. There's so many ways to lose a play. Why include rain into that? So that's kind of where I stand with Logan Webb tonight.
Yeah,
Also,
I do.
I'll sleep okay tonight if he goes over, and I won't sleep tonight if I play it and he goes under because of rain. So it's kind of where I stand there.
Wow, yeah, Barstool, you can get exactly what Brian has at plus 450. So that's crazy for the crazy 25 to 1. So yeah, definitely go to Caesars or anything else. But yeah, that's an interesting look. Yeah, I can't touch Logan Webb. As we mentioned, I just think there's so many ways that baseball can go awry. Don't try to add weather into your cap because you really can't figure it out sometimes. The next guy on the list, I actually almost played in a way, but yeah, it's Jesus Luzardo.
Killing.
He's just smashing this line. Like
I
this
can't-
6.5 line he's getting a lot. He's just smashing. I think some of the daily fantasy apps had him open at 6, which on Pickett, if you look, 6 is bet heavily. And I get it. Like I get it. Like if you get 6 to the push with this guy, I mean he's just crushing those lines.
Yeah, this is the prop that has haunted me all day, where I for some reason cannot commit to this shit, and I'm dying to commit to it. So I don't know. I love it. There's so much to like. There's almost like, why is it 6-5? Cardinals have this they have this reputation as lefty masters, but like their numbers since June 1st they're not really that special. I keep using June 1st because I like to go 30 days out, but with the All-Star break, I'm including a little extra time, so I keep saying June 1st. But since June 1st, they're like like a 85 WRC plus first lefties. Like they're not hitting lefties that hard. They're striking out, I think,
and they're top 10. They're top 10 on the season for lefties for strikeout rate. I mean, they're 23.5% for the season.
Yeah, I mean that's a good target, and this guy is just disgusting. So I mean, I think the biggest thing is going to be that slider is just absolutely disgusting, and it's going to be a matter of how these guys handle that slider. But if you pull up plate IQ, I mean, my goodness, now these are small sample sizes, but these K rates are insane versus sliders. Goldschmidt's 40%, Arenado's 40%, Wilson Contreras is 50%, Walker's 50%, DeYoung is 55.6%, Lars Nootbaar's 40%. Very, very small sample sizes.
According to people that will never sponsor us because they don't like Ryan, but Props Like Cash does have them listed at 27.5% strikeout rate last 30 days against lefties for the Cardinals.
Damn.
That's not good.
That's not. not really good.
There is a part of me that still wants to maybe find a way to play 6+ with something, but yeah, that I do not fault anybody on the Picket app, any Picket
Nope.
user that is writing this, because if I wasn't such a scared person for some reason that I don't even understand, I would play it too. But yeah, I think it's a great look. I mean, he's been crushing that line. He's over that in 8 of his last 10. I definitely can sympathize with the Picket users.
Yes, and if if you wanted to fade Michaelis, I don't blame you on the PPD. I think the PPD is a really good option there. I mean,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So there's a lot to like. I truly cannot explain why I can't commit to it. Um, I've thought about this prop since pretty much the moment I've woken up, and I'm still here thinking about it. And I think once I think about something this long, I just walk away, man. I just
I'll say this: if
leave my hands
you
at it.
think about it as long as you have, or you mentioned, I do the same thing. If you really liked it, you would play it much faster. So I
Yeah.
think it's okay to do that and just kind of move on. And
Yep.
honestly, moving on to talk about the third best, most bet player, I should say, on Pickett, which is Shohei Otani. Which
I'm
honestly,
glad he's three and not one.
if you're betting Shohei, you're probably just basic. Ryan, do you have any thoughts on this? I mean,
I'm basic as shit, dude.
funnily enough,
I couldn't
home run
resist.
is the most bet thing. They're almost 1,300 picks for home run. In a second place, distant second, 870 picks is his over 1.5 bases. We kind of talked about it. I make jokes, but Ryan did cover his bases really well. I mean, it's one of those things where if you lose, you have to just have a mindset that says, you know what, it was a great spot. One of the best player in baseball. He didn't come through, but yeah, this is definitely a good look. I can't fault anybody for this.
Not one bit. Yep, 100% backing, obviously by myself. So I cannot wait to get the notification that he went yard tonight. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be
Yeah,
a lot of fun. I'll probably have to watch that game because Severino is it's hilarious. Severino's been a fun fade a lot of this season. A couple starts ago, he went against the Texas Rangers. The best offense in baseball, and I had Texas Rangers over team total. And Severino's pitched 6 scoreless innings. So
I
that's
think
pretty
I
funny.
didn't. I was not on the Rangers that game, but I do remember thinking like, why the hell am I not playing this? And then checking in and just rooting
There it
against it. Like,
is.
you know what I mean? Like, I was actually hoping to have the regret because I was like, how the hell is he doing this right now? So
Yeah, I, don't,
yeah, I'm
I
all
got
for
nothing on
that.
that one. That one was hilarious, but it's just kind of that is the most baseball thing ever. A guy with a 7 ERA shuts down the best offense in baseball. That's just baseball. That's the beauty of betting the sport, or the ugly side if this sport pisses you off, which I'm sure it does to
Yeah.
everybody. But yeah, man, go Otani. Um, yeah, don't blame a soul for being on his props. I mean, at this point, if you just bet him every night,
Probably done
unless
pretty well. Probably
like
doing
I said,
well.
if he starts getting the Bonds treatment, you can get yourself in some trouble. But if you bet him every night again since June 1st, my God, how much would you be up if you bet a unit on his bases and a half
Pretty
unit on
well.
his
You'd be
homer?
pretty well
You'd
off.
be doing pretty well for yourself. I'm sitting here wondering why I haven't been doing it all along. But yeah, this guy's just he's a pretty decent baseball player last time I checked.
Yeah, someone in the chat also just mentioned you're not worried about his at bats going down or getting worse without Trout. Actually, Ryan did mention that earlier in the show, where he actually was saying his half walk prop is also appealing because of that exact reason.
Yeah,
There's definitely a way. I mean, they're trying to protect him as much as possible, but yeah, there's always that risk with not necessarily intentional walks, but just pitching around them, not giving them anything great to hit because they'd rather just live with the next guy. I mean, which I'm not even mad about.
no, that is easily my number one concern here for Otani. But the numbers were still just so good, I couldn't resist.
Yeah, and to close up the show, like before we do the recap, I mean, just a shout out to Pickett Sports. Me and Ryan are actually going to be able to finally meet in person in New York City, thanks to Pickett Sports. They're doing a Yankees
Hell yeah,
game,
man!
so that's the plan. So maybe we'll lose some money or something on Saturday. We'll bet like a same
Probably.
game parlay, and then just whatever booklet Trent's on, we'll just take the other team. He probably
There you
will
go.
bet the Astros that game, but just to give a shout out to them, and then we can go to the recap. I was on 2 plays and then a third, like same game parlay. I'll go over. I took Drew Smiley under 4.5 strikeouts, probably my favorite look on the entire slate. And then my second play was Shane McClanahan under 5.5 strikeouts, parlayed with Brandon Williamson to not record a win. Doing a half unit there. It's one of those things where it's a bad slate to begin with, and I don't want to. In a weird way, I don't want to undo how much I like the first prop I had by being even if I go 1-on-1. So I'd rather have less exposure on a guy that's returning from a 15-day DL, and then we kind of have some fun with it. 23-1. I did take for $7, which is like less than a point, like a 1/10 unit. I took Drew Smiley under strikeouts, over outs, parlayed with Mackenzie Gore over strikeouts and under outs. It's a long shot. Don't spend a lot of money on it, but I do think that's a fun one. And I do think it's a guy that should have success without strikeouts versus another guy that should have a lower workload, but missed a lot of bats.
Yep. I went Mackenzie Gore over 5.5 strikeouts. I believe MGM had the best price at -115. My square picks of the day were Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 total bases, and then Shohei Ohtani home run. Then I broke out a rare K ladder for Grayson Rodriguez. I put 0.6 units on him to get 6+ strikeouts. I put 0.2 units on him to get 7+. I put 0.2 units on him to get 8+. I put 0.1 units on him to get 9+. And that is 1.1 total risk units on Grayson Rodriguez ladder. Believe that'll finish us up. Thanks to Pickett for sponsoring. Thanks to Sleeper Picks as well for sponsoring. And fun show. I love doing this every Monday. So appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Awesome. Thank you.